Alright, so in this part of the midair guides, this one's going to be a little different. So this one, featuring my chunkler Renea, is going to be doing 1x1 midairing. Now, there's going to be a few variables, there's going to be a few more variables than doing a reverse midair, but I just quickly made this in about like 5-10 minutes just so I can explain and show everything really, so that, it's not too difficult to pull off and do. Let me just make sure I'm confident with this amount of booster. Okay, I'm confident with 2016T, yeah. Okay, so basically, um, we have our two powers here, two redstone tick difference. I did make sure I have enough sand stacking as well. This is the hammer, sand, and here would be my slab bust. Now, I am only going to be doing a tick after my second power, which is going to be my hammer timing, but I will be... So first, we just want to... Well, I will be, showing how to find the mid-air ratio, obviously. It's just repetitive, really, realistically. Every part of mid-airing is just going to be repetitive, and just getting into, like, a routine, basically, of when you do things. You want to just know where you want to place your TNT. So, basically, in this situation, let me just get out the wools for this, and as well, let me just make sure there's I don't care if there's a thumbnail on this. Cool, alright, so, basically, right, so as long as you have your sand, slab bust, whatever, in your one position, and you have your hit, so slab bust, whatever, like, I'm just going to be referring to slab bust or sand every single time, and using mid-air TNT, which is this hammer. So this will be all the entities you want to, affect in mid-air, have it move around the way you want it to move around, but obviously I keep calling it sand and slab bust. So, basically, right, you can have it anywhere, and I mentioned this in the previous video, you can have it anywhere in a specific region around the sand, as long as it affects it at the correct time, and as long as it affects it, period, and you get it to where you want it to go, you're doing something right. Now, obviously, with mid-airs, you want the most efficient amount possible, because you don't want a fat, like, 700 hammer. Like, on some revs without a backboard, where you stack like this, and then, you stack up, obviously you have, like, that, but I'm talking no horizontal backboard. Like, I know some people have, like, 700 hammer, and that's just embarrassing. So, that's embarrassing in my eyes. That'd be embarrassing to them. But, if it works, it works. And if they have enough TNT in the margin to do it, then it's whatever. So, I am going to can debug select it. Now, I already went ahead and selected everything. So, 1 being my hammer, and 2 being my slab bust, as right here. I don't need the sand right now. So, I will only really need to fire the hammer for now. So, as you see, everything is going to work. And you're going to see, so first we want to get our slab bust position. Like I said, every single time, you just do this. And let me just teleport to this. So, okay, so we have a 2x1 right here. We have this right here as our position. And if we do our hammer's position, which is going to be, we'll go from end to end. And wow, I use a lot of power. I might have to cut it down. 345, Jesus Christ. I really am just going to cut it down. Okay, so instead, I'm going to just quickly half the power on both of these. Mainly just because I don't want to go out that far, so I'm just going to quickly refine the ratios, blah, blah, blah. Right, so as you can see, I'm getting into everything a lot quicker. Alright, so yeah, alright, so diamond, move L. And then we have this here, which is actually, surprisingly, pretty close. Alright, so we can see it in distance, so this is what I would rather have won. So it's see right here, okay, 124 blocks. So now, obviously, in this case, of how we're going to mid-air stack, now, I will pause it at the point until I find, better things if I have to, but because of the small amount of sand that I'm going to be stacking, I don't believe I'm pretty sure I won't need to change much. So in this case, because I'm shooting this way, this is where my sand's going to be, and my hammer's going to be like this, so it's going to be relatively forward and above from the sand. That's all I really have to worry about. So basically, all I want to do is I want to add TNT to my hammer power, as usual. So let me stack this up by So realistically, I'm just gonna look right here. Okay, so it got to right here, which is pretty good. I'm not really going off how many blocks exact. I'm just kind of eyeballing it right now. I'll just do this. I'm hoping this will be close enough. I will get to the exact... Oh. Okay. That might have been too much. Okay, no, I didn't get close enough. I still have no counter on. That's cool. Alright, let me just get rid of that. And then let me just remove some TNT here. And this should be good. I don't know. I'm just eyeballing it. I'm hoping it works, honestly. Alright, so clearly it worked. In this case, it actually sent it down and forward. I'm going to add 1 or 2 dispensers really quickly. Because I just want it to, fuck. I really just want it to be, you know, I just want to be able to make it midair stack here to show it off. Basically, I didn't actually find ratios ahead of time. This could do. Alright. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire this here, and I'm just going to add my sand anyways, so I can see if I get, you know, any relatively close amounts. Alright, so I have way too much hammer. So this is where it's going to come down to how much hammer you're having, right? So if I look here, I have like 300. I'm just going to cut this one spot off, because I don't need 300 if I'm stacking like, what, 50 sand? Especially with the small amount of velocity I have. Alright, so cool. So now we see it's stacked behind it, which is a good thing. Because that means, well, I just have to remove a bunch of hammer. So because of how much hammer there is, I can just remove a bunch. So there's going to be certain situations. So now, if I have too little and enough velocity, what will happen is it will go down and forward. But in this case, I had too much hammer where it had enough downwards momentum as well as going backward where it had too much velocity backwards. So it clearly shows that I have enough velocity, period. Let me just get rid of the side of the hammer. And I will just cut down the amount by like that much. I'm really just guessing and checking here. But I've done this for like, you know, 2 years now, so I have a good feel for it. I never fired. That's cool. Realistically, like I said, it just gets it comes down to repetition. As you can see here, you know, the slab bus is going to there. So now it's no longer doing it in a single tick, it seems like. So I am going to I might just do that just to see it, because now in that case the slab bus didn't go too far. And I mean, yeah, it didn't really go that far at all. So realistically, okay, so what happens here is I don't really have a good ratio. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna have to find a new one, which kind of sucks, and I have to hope for the best realistically when it comes to this. So I have to find new ratios. So it's a really good ratio. So this one will be a lot longer, right? So we got down to about there. I'm gonna add an extra dispenser here, maybe. Let's see if this does anything. Because I don't really need this anymore, but I just like want to go see where I'm going. Okay, so no, I don't want that dispenser there. I want to remove this one here. I might add one here as well. Okay, so this one went far downward. So I might actually have to re-add that hammer. Who knows? But as you see, it went forward. I think it went forward. I actually don't have a clue. I really should be tracking it right now, but, you know. Okay, I went to, like, right there. If I go to the last position, it's going ahead. So You see, I haven't really found a good ratio yet. I will add another dispenser here. So another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly make a little lineup, right? So another thing you can do to make things easier, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this like 20 to the right. I'm going to stack this up down, like, I'm just going to remove like all of this, and I'm just going to set this to right here, diamond, so I can see where things are, and then you do this, just like expand 100, right, and then you're going to stack this side up. You can stack this as high as you want right here. What this does is it really helps you just see how high things are going. Right, so you can see this one is not enough velocity, and it's also going way too far forward. But the forward is actually fine, because I can just re-add this here, and I can remake the hammer. Yeah, so this is going to be a longer video. It's just more of me finding midair ratios and talking to myself. That's fun, I guess. I really don't know what to say in this situation. What the fuck? Okay, so I will add another dispenser. I really am not really yeah, so I'm like not really putting a good example of shit right now. So like if I go like up 0 and then I just like oh, the shit's fucking yeah, that's why. Wasn't even ahead of it. That's cool. Okay, this is actually a really interesting one. So it's stacking ahead, but has enough Y velocity. And you can tell it has enough Y velocity because, one, it stacked here. It went all the way back to there. So now what I can do is I'm just going to wire this really quickly. And then, yeah, so now I should have enough TNT to stack either forward or... I should stack a lot, really. Oh my god, this is kind of annoying, I won't lie. This is gonna go forward, I know it will. Alright. Yeah, so this is more annoying because of like, it's mostly annoying because of the ratios, or the ticks I'm using. It doesn't really have good ratios, I don't really think so. It's mostly because of the ticks I'm using. Like, if I use a lot less power right now, I could, or like, better ticks, I definitely could get it. Oh, okay, so I have a lot of hammer here. At this point, I'm just going to stack way less sand, and just so I can get the proof of concept, Jesus Christ. Okay, well, I can just clearly disable, like, half the hammer. That's nice. Let's just do that. Let's see what we get here. Okay, nice. We don't have enough velocity now. Apparently. I'm just gonna do this. I really don't even want to stack like a full amount of sand. I just can't do it. I don't want to like rush it out. It's just because I'm not doing this fast enough, I feel like. Alright, perfect. So, as you see, it was still stacking forward, which means we have to add some hammer. Let's get rid of these now. Don't need them anymore. Alright, so... And this is usually a 2x1 pillar. Now, the thing is, I didn't get a 1x1. I actually got anything but a 1x1, clearly. So, I'm gonna have to add, like, 1 or 2 dispensers, and I have to see where it goes relative to the last position. Sometimes it'll be... Sometimes... Alright, perfect. Boom. I got a midair stack. Whatever. Down. I mean, like, that's all it really was. I had to figure out, like, how much Y velocity and going forward or less, and I had to find more ratios. Now, obviously, it will take time getting a better ratio, and I kind of rushed this one, so it wasn't really more of a demonstration. It was more of just watching me, I guess, do it, because it's more of repetition. I already explained how to find it every single time. It's more of just showing how to use trial and error to find those ratios. And you see, I could stack without a backboard, right, as of right there, really easily. Now, it is a terrible ratio, and I know that, right? The thing is, I don't really care, because this is only for demonstration purposes. Because if people can figure out, right, how to do this, it's a good thing. So as long as people are learning, it's beneficial. So I will be uploading this in a moment. And I also will have the schema in the description. I noticed that people did want to use the demo ones I've been making, just so they can, you know, mess around with them, you know, just to get just to figure out how they work and all. So I will be putting those in description for those people. So that's nice. And I mean, really, I don't really have much else to say. I'm just quickly fix this adjust part as well. So like I said, if any questions, just DM me. Like, this is just showing how to 1x1 stack. Like, it's best if you can find a 1x1, and you can use, like I said in the first midair video, is you can use K-Man's, like, 1x1 graph. You can use Canon Debug, actually. Canon Debug does have a thing for that. So if you go to, like, here, right, let's go here, right, this block is location on X or Z axis, and it'll tell you, and you can see here. Now, obviously, in this case, it's just 0.5, 0.5 in X and Z, which means it is, but, like, it's just 0.01 less or 0.01 more from 0.5. It means a 1x1. If it's within that range, I might put the exact numbers in the description. I don't know if I can be asked, but, you know, because I'm really just rushing this one out, with this video out. Not the best thing. It's more just a demonstration of how to do midair stacking, because you already saw how to reverse midairing in more in depth of a guide. And I already went over how to find the locations on the horizontal scale as well. So now you know how to find those locations on both of these. And in this case, this one too, I already showed the hammer being above the slab bust in this one as well. So realistically, I mean, I already showed how to get the locations. I'm more of just kind of like putting it in your head that it's just repetition using that same concept over and over again, but using it for different uses. And eventually I will show off how to do things like one power midairing and stuff like that, right? Like for like the really insane stuff and the most complex things. But realistically, like, this stuff is not too difficult. Until you get to like the very, very complex ways of midairing, this will be very, very simple, as I'm showing. Midairing is not nerdy. It is simple, easy. As I showed here, like, I'm not even doing any math in my head. I'm just randomly guessing. And some people will think I'm doing math in my head, and a lot of times when I can, and yes, I do. But in this case, I'm not. I'm just guessing randomly, and that's how easy it is. You can just guess randomly and hope it works. Like, just the old school way of finding ratios, right? You just slap random amounts of TNT and hope it works. And obviously, you can find way better ways. Now, you don't have to use the same ticks I'm using. You can use whatever ticks you want. You can do a game tick power difference. You can do 1 redstone tick. You can do 10 redstone tick. You can do 7 game tick, etc. All of those, you can do whatever you want for your timings. As long as you get that midair effect, you are doing something right, and you can do what you are trying to do. Assuming you have the ratio for it, right? So, pretty much, like, that's all there is to it. So if you have any questions, feel free to DM me. If you're confused about anything, feel free to DM me, or even just leave a comment. I may respond to it. I will be taking a scan of this in a moment and releasing this and showing off how it works. I don't know how much sand it stacks, but Okay, it's the same. You want to put a platform at the same Y level of the cannon platform, basically. So you can really put it at Y1 if you wanted to, and it would still work. I'll make sure of that right now. And then... yeah, so I'll make sure of that right now to show that it will do exactly what I need it to do. I guess it'll stack down here. But yeah, I mean, like... so the same Y level as the cannon platform, and it should be fine. And boom. I fucking missed. Now, I can't explain why the slab bust is aligned wrongly. I also don't really care that's aligned incorrectly. I honestly couldn't. But, yeah, right here, like, stands right here, boom, done. So the same Y level as the cannon platform will be, where you want shit to be in, so... but yeah, that's really it.